Folks, whatever that is,
There we go.
The wilderness at night is a place where you're never truly alone, even when you think you are. From being surrounded by unseen figures shifting objects around a camp, to a stealth camper forced to flee after hearing chilling screams in the dark, these moments prove that nature and who else is in it can be unpredictable. If you felt eyes watching you from the shadows, would you stay or would you run? On July 3rd, 2002, hunters and field investigators entered a remote wilderness region following reports of unusual activity near a landowner's property. What started as a search for tracks took a darker turn when they sensed something moving around their camp after nightfall. Objects were shifted and motion was spotted just beyond the tree line, creating the impression they were being watched and slowly encircled. Fearing the situation might escalate, they decided to wait until morning before leaving the area.
Holy shit. It's going all around us.
Whatever it is, it's close.
Dude. Wait, did you see that? Holy shit, man. Dude, something. That was the cooler. Yeah, get your night vision going. You got it. Something just walked by the cooler up there. There's something up there, and I think that something's moving. There's at least two. There's one on each side. Let's try and get some sleep, and we can just hike out of here in the morning, you know.
Some suggest this was an aggressive animal, or a person deliberately trying to frighten them, while others question how coordinated the movements appeared. Was this a deliberate act by someone or something concealed in the woods, or simply fear magnifying the unknown? On November 15th, 2020, YouTuber Oscarol, known for filming hunting trips with close friends, set out to track a bear in unpredictable pursuit, even for seasoned hunters. The situation escalated rapidly when his hunting dog Taika moved dangerously close to the animal, and multiple shots failed to stop it.
Perkele hyökkäs koiran pialle tuo karhu.
After continuing the pursuit, Oscaril heard distant screams that he soon realized were not coming from the bear. He later explained that one shot had struck the bear's lung, but was not fatal, allowing it to run roughly 100 meters and remain extremely dangerous. In those moments, the bear turned on Taika, pinning the dog beneath it.
Koiralla on takajalka oikein ihan paskana.
Realizing the screams were coming from his own dog, Oscaril acted, immediately fired again, and finally stopped the bear. Although Taika was pulled free alive, a veterinarian later confirmed the dog's leg had been crushed by the bear's bite and had to be amputated.
Ajaa sinne. Ei oo vielä. Se on tuolla.
Thanks to quick controlled decisions under intense pressure, Taika survived and went on to live a full life, though never able to hunt again. Some believe this illustrates how a single non-fatal shot can turn a hunt into a life-or-death situation, raising the question, how often do hunters underestimate just how dangerous a wounded predator can still be? In October 2014, a hunter and his professional companion tracked a wounded leopard in Tanzania. When they finally located it, the leopard responded with sudden aggression rather than retreating. Some believe this was the instinct of a cornered injured predator, raising a final question in moments like this: does experience matter, or is survival decided in seconds? Around 18 years ago, on March 14th, 2007 footage surfaced showing a group of hunters on an expensive paid safari in the desert, a video that remains controversial. Many hunters later distanced themselves, arguing such expeditions damaged the sport's reputation. During this outing, nature took control when a lion pushed to its limit suddenly fought back, throwing the situation into chaos. The hunter survived, but the footage left a lasting impression. Some see it as poor judgment and an underestimation of wildlife, while others view it as a reminder of how unpredictable and powerful wild animals can be. It leaves one question: no matter the cost or preparation, can humans ever truly control nature? In October 2025, an Alaskan hunter was checking remains from a previous hunt when a quiet morning suddenly turned dangerous around 10:43 as a bear charged into view.
Here he comes. Bear. Shoot him again. Son of a... Holy shit.
Good thing you had me ready.
Young man.
Yeah, well, you're still alive.
Oh, the first one I drilled him right in the center of the chest.
Yeah. Woo! Oh, damn.
How'd you like your bow for that one?
Yeah, that would not have been cool.
The encounter ended without tragedy, but only because of quick reactions. Some see this as experience at work, while others point to how unpredictable bears become around food. It raises a final question: how often does routine turn into risk without warning? When a landowner arrived at his secluded cabin on High Knob Road, he discovered a truck sitting in his driveway that clearly didn't belong there. What first appeared to be a minor misunderstanding quickly turned into something far more unsettling when the stranger refused to leave.
It's nothing to be concerned about because I've already been talking to surveyors. I own this property. I can show you rightfully right now. You could call the police.
Okay, I'm going to. Because you're on my land, I paid to have this driveway put in.
You're wrong.
I had the survey when I bought it.
You half spoke there. Are you recording?
Yes.
You want to put that away, we can talk.
I don't trust anybody because right now there's no one else here but me and you.
Look, I'm not talking to you if you're recording me. I'm not allowing you to record me.
You're on private property.
No, I am not, okay? Go turn that off and we'll talk.
I'm just getting the sheriff here.
The owner approached the vehicle and spoke with a man nearby. He told him the land was private property and that the Hardy County Sheriff had already been notified. The stranger stayed where he was and made no effort to move his truck.
I've come to my property. I've been notified that someone's been trespassing. I come here. He's telling me that this is his property. He's using my driveway. My cabin is close to the line. It's been here for umpteen years now. I've asked him to leave. He's told me, no, this is his property. And I need to get someone out here to help settle this and to have him removed. His name is Mark. Also, I have a GoPro on me. Am I allowed to be recording on my property? Okay, because he's telling me to turn it off. I'm just for my own safety. I do not know. In my vehicle, I always bring it up here just because of bears and stuff. There's a 20 gauge in my vehicle. It's unloaded. And consider me unarmed. Unarmed. No, he appears to be on his property, but he's using my driveway to access his, and he's parked on mine. I'm getting ready to put up a gate and want to put up a gate on my property. He's not going to be able to leave. No, there's no right of way. I do not know the answer to that question, ma'am. He will not talk to me because I have my GoPro on. That sounds good. Thank you very much, ma'am.
In his written statement, the property owner explained that when sheriff's deputies finally reached the remote site after a lengthy drive, the situation became clear. After about 20 minutes of conversation, the stranger admitted the property was not his and that his truck was not legally parked there. He acknowledged he had not been truthful and said it was simply more convenient to park on the owner's land. When pressed further, the truck started without any mechanical issues. After the trespasser left, the property owner immediately secured the driveway with a cable to block any future unauthorized access. What remained was a troubling question. What could have happened if the encounter had not been documented? When assistance is far away and the other person isn't being honest, staying composed and having evidence can make a significant difference in remaining safe. On Father's Day 2022, a seasoned stealth camper from Outdoor Adventures and Gear was preparing camp in a concealed woodland area. Unexpected events would soon shift what was supposed to be a calm evening into a quick withdrawal. He always kept a grab bag packed and ready for situations exactly like this. When his plans unexpectedly worked out in his favor, he used the opportunity for a spontaneous overnight outing. He drove to an isolated location and positioned his vehicle so it appeared disabled, discouraging anyone from tampering with it before heading deeper into the woods. There he chose an ideal campsite that was carefully hidden and shielded from sight with clear vantage points to notice anyone coming near. The spot provided open skies for stargazing and felt entirely cut off from others. He set up his vintage guide gear tent, arranged a military patrol bivvy, and prepared a small fire pit. Everything was going precisely as planned. While waiting for full darkness to settle, he heard something that immediately altered the mood.
Alright guys, I'm hearing a noise. So we're gonna see what it is. There's a chance I could be busted, but I'll come back. But I heard a bunch of noise way out by my car. And I don't know what it was. I very much doubt. There's a chance I might be wrapping this up just because if there's some good old boys out there drinking or something, having a good time, I don't want to mess with my car. So I don't know if I'm going to stay. I might wrap this up in about an hour. I'm hearing too much noise out there. Alright guys, sometimes when you stay at a place, you gotta know when it's time to get out. I'm hearing too much noise, too much crap, and I'm getting out of here. I don't know if they're good old boys. I don't know what it is. It is truly a shame I didn't get to stay, because man, this is a beautiful spot. But sometimes guys, you gotta play it smart. Safety first, remember that. Respect nature second. I'm getting out. Too many warning signs. See that lake at night, guys, it's beautiful. I'm getting closer to my car. I'll put the video on now. Make sure everything stays up to say, but I won't be saying it anymore. Holy shit. When I drive my car, when I have to stealth camp, I usually park it like it's a car in distress and nobody will mess with it. Now I was a mile out from my car and I heard a lot of cars on gravel roads, and the only gravel roads that were around were where I was at. So when I heard all this noise, that got my antenna up. I said, oh, something's going on. Now it may have been a bunch of people having fun, but I wasn't going to take that chance. And the second thing I started hearing was a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, a lot of shouting. Now I don't know what's going on. Once I heard this and realized it was going on for a little while, I made that decision to pack my stuff up and just call it a night.
Several vehicles traveling along a remote gravel road paired with continued shouting and screaming nearby. And the close proximity to his concealed camp created too many red flags to dismiss. His advice to fellow stealth campers was straightforward. If something feels wrong, leave. Personal safety is more important than finishing the night, and instincts should never be ignored. There will always be another chance to return. The wilderness is not going anywhere, but making it home safely matters most. In a worst-case scenario remaining, there might have resulted in a dangerous encounter. If you were alone in a setting like that, would you trust your instincts and go, or accept the risk and stay? In December 2022, Johnny Paranormal ventured deep into Japan's infamous Aokigahara forest, where he encountered something that would stay with him long after he departed.
This forest, when you're walking around on the roads and stuff like that, and the sun's shining, it feels okay. But as soon as you look into this forest, it's just dark. And I'm not saying that, you know, for any other reason, but that's reality of this place. I wouldn't say like, you know, ghostly feel to it or anything, but it has like a bad vibe. It's close. Here we go. That's a body. Far out. Very old body. Been here a long time. Head come off. I had a feeling about this area, that's why I wanted to come in here. So, alright, oh, just found a body. That's why you've got to be so thorough in your searching team. Body's been, might be I think it's a woman. I think it's a girl. Coming in, hang themselves. Shoot up the tree. There's the moose. Must have been a, I don't know, this is weird. And I stupidly didn't buy any ribbons, so there you go. I don't know, from those shoes, it's a woman. A woman's hanged herself. Oh, that's why I'm here.
At first, Johnny thought he was seeing a discarded pile of clothing. Moments later, he realized that underneath it lay a human body that had completely decomposed into skeletal remains. The pale, delicate skull was found a short distance from the rest of the bones. It had likely become detached and rolled away due to the weakened state of the remains. The discovery served as a stark reminder of how Aokigahara gained its grim reputation, and why even experienced explorers enter the sea of trees with caution, respect, and unease. Because of its history and the many tragedies connected to it, Aokigahara is not a place that responds well to simple curiosity. The forest holds a heaviness shaped by silence, isolation, and loss, and walking through it without care or awareness can quietly transform an exploration into something deeply overwhelming, both mentally and emotionally. Cumberland Outdoorsman is a seasoned hunter who has spent his entire life in the backwoods of Tennessee. He recognizes every animal call and every natural sound these forests are known to make. But on the last Saturday of hunting season, he went through something that made him question everything he thought he understood about these woods. It was a peaceful afternoon when he set up for squirrel hunting. The forest was still and undisturbed, exactly what he expected after decades spent in these isolated areas. Then, without any warning, a strange howling noise shattered the silence.
Well, folks, I just spotted it. Sounds like it moved. There, you hear it. Don't know what in the world that is. It sounds weird. I thought it was a coyote, but I'm not real sure. You can hear it. I'm not sure. I'm about ready to get out of here anyway. That sounds weird. I'm glad I got a loaded rifle with me. Well, folks, whatever that is, it was howling a while ago. It started up again. I don't know what it is. It sounds like there's some coyotes, but there's something else. Well, folks, there it is. If anybody has an idea of what that might be, please leave a comment below. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to make any claims whatsoever. Last Saturday evening, repeatedly, I wish I had turned on my HD camera the first go around when it was really sounding off directly ahead of me.
He decided to leave the area not because he was afraid, but because he couldn't identify what he was facing. The chances of actually seeing whatever produced the sound were slim, yet staying there felt more and more unwise. Humberland gathered his gear and began the mile-long walk back to his truck. He had hunted these woods for years and knew every trail and hollow, yet he had never heard anything like that before. The audio he captured that evening brought up more questions than answers. The howls were distinct and didn't match any common animal he had encountered in a lifetime outdoors. Some viewers who later heard the recording offered various explanations, but none could clearly determine what Cumberland experienced that night in the Tennessee wilderness. Sounds that don't match anything familiar can be more dangerous than what you can see, especially in remote forests. If you heard something like that and couldn't place it, would you rely on your experience or decide to walk away? A man named Eric brought his son deer, hunting on a piece of private land where they had confirmed they had permission to be. From the beginning, something felt off, as an armed stranger was already present on the property.
Hey man, who are you?
Who the hell are y'all?
Eric, and this is my son. We're about to go down here and hunt. Do you have permission to hunt here?
Yep.
From who?
Landowner.
Who's the landowner?
It's up by the road, I think.
Get the landowner. He's told me, last time I talked to him, he said he's not going to give any permission to anyone other than me and my son.
I guess I told you wrong.
Okay, then I'll call him.
Hey, why are you filming me?
He can film whoever he wants. Hey, stay back, man, because we don't know you. You don't know us. Keep them.
When Eric tried to handle the situation, the interaction quickly intensified. The man claimed he also had permission from the landowner, but Eric doubted that statement, having received no notice of any other approved hunters. He immediately called the landowner to confirm, and the response was unmistakable. The stranger did not have authorization to be there. As Eric stayed on the phone, the man's demeanor noticeably changed.
Hey, have you given permission to this somebody come out here and hunt besides me and my son? Just a guy in a camo jacket, blue jeans, boots, got a gun. He's not even wearing orange. You do not have permission to hunt here. Who do you live around here?
I'm going to my truck.
Where's your truck?
I don't trust you.
She don't trust you because you're not allowed to hunt here.
I just wanted to have a day of deer hunting.
And besides, the road's not even that way. How did you get into this property?
The damn road is over there. I'm getting away from y'all.
You're acting like we're the issue, dude. You're hunting property where you're not supposed to be. You're trespassing.
Y'all are shit.
Eric directly informed him that he was trespassing and illegally hunting on private property. Instead of accepting responsibility, the man acted as though Eric and his son were causing the issue. He refused to clarify how he accessed the land and eventually made an effort to leave. The tension kept rising, and for a brief moment, it seemed the situation could spiral out of control. Thankfully, it did not. The man departed without further trouble. Still, an encounter with an armed trespasser could have ended far worse, demonstrating how quickly fear or misunderstanding can become dangerous in the woods, and raising the question of how often similar incidents occur without being documented. On January 28, 2023, a video was posted to the YouTube channel Stuck in the Rut, and quickly gained widespread attention. It follows siblings Tana and Trevor during a brown bear hunt far out in the Alaskan wilderness. After spending several days in the backcountry, they finally locate the bear they had been pursuing. What should have been the closing phase of the hunt suddenly shifts into a life-threatening encounter. The hunters attempt to shorten the distance for a clear shot, but the bear climbs higher up the mountain. Despite fatigue and harsh terrain filled with snow ice and steep inclines, they continue pressing forward. The wind adds another challenge, making it difficult to remain unnoticed.
Hey!
Did you hit it? Oh, he's getting up. Here we go. Jeez, go down. I think you got him.
Trevor spots the bear within shooting range and readies his rifle. At the worst possible moment, the firearm malfunctions while he tries to correct it. The bear starts moving in their direction. Trevor fires 3 rounds. Each one connects, yet the bear keeps coming. Even injured, it does not stop. The space between the animal and the hunters closes fast. When the rifle jams again, it becomes clear they have to retreat.
We just had this bear up there. It was bedded when I shot it, and it actually came running after us. All the way down the hill. This is its tracks and blood trail.
They shut off the camera. At that point, it is no longer about recording. It is about survival as they run. Tana uses her phone to document what unfolds. The bear charges after them down the mountainside, forcing them to leave their equipment behind. Only in the final seconds does Trevor manage to fire one last shot, and this time the bear collapses. The outcome could have been tragic. It stands as a stark reminder of how dangerous wildlife remains, even when wounded, and leaves many questioning whether anyone can truly prepare for a moment when nature refuses to yield. That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story, share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.